So I'm here in the venue, 2 weeks out, and I've got some unfortunate news. The event, Night Promotions 3, which was meant to take place on November 22nd, has now officially been cancelled. And so this is the public statement to say that the event has been cancelled. For all people who have bought tickets, you will be refunded, and you should have your refunds with you by next week. I'm speaking with the ticket platform as we speak. Sorry for everyone who's excited to come down and support the fighters. An apology to all the fighters who are still a part of this process and haven't been able to see it through despite their best efforts. I was very excited about running this event, and a lot of the fighters were excited about putting on a show for you as well. Unfortunately, it doesn't seem like it's feasible given the amount of fighters that have been dropping out. We've had about 40 applications, and from those 40 applications, I've only been able to source, well, we've got 14 fighters in camp at the minute, after 3 dropped out last night, which is, well, today was meant to be the day that we did the gloves are off, and we need that promotion to sell the event and to get you guys excited about the event. So basically, the tickets aren't going to sell, and I decided that I'm going to cut my losses here. Because it's not feasible for me to run the event and lose more than I've already lost, which is unfortunate, because I did want to give an opportunity to these fighters. A lot of them have worked really hard. A lot of them have committed themselves to something psychologically, and I didn't want to take that away from them. But it's the world we live in. Sometimes you lose, and I've got to accept when I've lost, and I will. I'll look at why I've lost. And starting with the source of all my problems, which is me, and figuring out why I wasn't able to get those fighters in and the appropriate fighters in, and to make sure that I did give a good, comprehensive, and full opportunity to the people that I brought on board. But I would also like to sort of bring into question, to a certain extent, the support that some of the fighters have received, which I felt I was personally quite disappointed in. For our first event, we saw massive support. We saw fighters stepping in and all of their friends sharing what they were doing, and they came and they supported, and they were buying tickets straight away. And then for our second event in London, it just wasn't the same. And we had a lot of people. I mean, we had, I think, 4 fighters from the same rugby team, a rugby team that I was a part of with my brother as well. And I think only 2 days before the event did the majority of those boys buy a ticket. And I think it just speaks to the fact that we're in a position in society where, unless something is particularly cool or there's certain egos on the line, people aren't willing to stand up and support people in quite the way that I would like them to. I think the keen example of this is Brian Hughes. I was massively shocked by the lack of support that he got when I dropped his interview last night. He's someone that's come back. He's someone that people have told not to fight again. He's coming under social scrutiny. And there were 4 other fighters from USW who were friends with Brian, who also fought on the first event, and not a single one of them shared their interview, despite the fact that they know how this operation works, and they know how tickets don't sell unless there's a momentum built on social media, unless people do share and people do support. And I'm not sort of specifically calling out those fighters. I have a lot of respect for them for the fact that they stepped in the ring the first time round, but I can't help but feel that I'm not someone that has social media. I don't understand the game that is on social media. And as far as I'm concerned, if one of my friends, one of my close friends, or even just someone that I'm in a rugby team with, is pushing himself to do something that he's never done before, is challenging himself, and is trying to overcome a psychological fear within him, despite the fact that he lost the first time round. And that speaks to all the fighters, not just Brian. I have no idea why you wouldn't support that. And obviously, I may be biased because I believe that this is an important process for specifically a man to go through if that's a process that he wants to engage in. But I can't help but feel that people are too orientated around what's cool or following the crowd. And I feel like there's not enough space for the hero story, for someone who isn't yet the man to become the man. And I think that that's taking place across society in more places than this. And I think that, well, I hope that that speaks to you in certain ways, and that you can empathize with the fact that if someone is trying to better themselves, despite the fact that they're not the finished article, or despite the fact that they're not a big bravado, cool person with lots of followers on social media, that they still should be given the same respect of people getting behind them in the same way. And I think that goes for the people in London. And I did think it was London specific when I was there, because I thought it was due to the culture. But I've found that it's due to Cardiff as well. And so that's all I have to say. Thank you very much for your support. Thank you very much for everyone who did engage with the social media. Thank you very much for everyone who's attended all of our events over this past year. If we are back, we'll be back with amateur fighters to ensure that we have people who are committed to the process. And I think that I can't compete with the other white-collar boxing companies on whatever game they're playing. But I definitely know that I can speak to fighters and to fighting men in a way that they can't. And that doesn't just go for me, but that goes for my brothers as well. And so if we are back, that's where we'll go. Thank you for your time.